Opening scene. A bustling town in ancient Israel. People are walking, bartering in the market, children play, and sheep graze in the distance. Voiceover. This is the story of Naaman, a powerful man from Aram, renowned for his victories in battle, a general respected by all. Naaman was not just any warrior. He was victorious, courageous, a man whose name caused kingdoms to tremble. But beneath his shining armor, there was a problem that no strategy could fix. Naaman had leprosy, a slow, relentless disease that threatened to take everything he had. Scene shifts to a magnificent palace in Aram, where Naaman sits solemnly, looking at his discolored hands. A servant girl, observant but hesitant, approaches. Voiceover. Now, in his household was a young servant girl, a captive from Israel. She served Naaman's wife, and though she had been taken far from her home, her faith never wavered. She spoke boldly to her mistress one day. "If only my master could see the prophet in Samaria," she said. "He would heal him of his leprosy." Scene. Naaman, with a look of hope mixed with doubt, prepares for the journey. He speaks to the king of Aram, who sends him to the king of Israel with wealth and a letter of introduction. Voiceover. Naaman was desperate but skeptical. A prophet? In Israel? But he had nothing to lose. The king of Aram gave Naaman his blessing, and with silver, gold, and fine clothing, Naaman made the journey. Scene transitions to the king's palace in Israel. The king reads the letter aloud and looks distressed. He tears his robe in frustration as Naaman waits, confused. Voiceover. When Naaman reached Israel, the letter from the king of Aram caused an uproar. "Am I God to kill and make alive?" the king of Israel cried. He thought it was a trick, a way for Aram to provoke war, but news reached Elisha, the prophet of Israel, and he sent a message. "Have Naaman come to me, and he will know that there is a prophet in Israel." Scene. Naaman arrives in front of Elisha's modest home with his grand entourage. Expectations are high. The tension builds. Voiceover. So Naaman arrived at Elisha's house, chariots humming and servants bustling. Surely the prophet would emerge with mystical words and gestures. But Elisha didn't even come out himself. Instead, a servant delivered the instruction. "Go, wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River, and your flesh will be restored." Scene. Naaman, outraged, yells and turns away. His servants try to calm him as he gestures angrily at the modest surroundings. Voiceover. Naaman was furious. "Wash in the Jordan, that muddy river? Are not the rivers of Damascus, Abana, and Pharpar better than all the waters of Israel? No." He stormed off in anger. His pride was wounded, his expectations shattered. Was this how miracles were performed? Scene. A quiet moment. One of Naaman's servants speaks humbly to him. Voiceover. But then his servants courageously intervened. "My father," they said, using a term of respect, "if the prophet had asked you to do something great, wouldn't you have done it? How much more then, when he tells you to simply wash and be cleansed?" Scene. Naaman, visibly conflicted, eventually relents and dismounts his chariot, walking toward the Jordan River. Voiceover. Their words touched him. Naaman, the great warrior, humbled himself. Slowly he walked to the Jordan. Each step was a battle in itself, a confrontation with his own pride. He dipped himself once, twice, 3 times, and still no change. 4 times, 5, 6. On the 7th time he emerged, his flesh clean, healthy, and renewed like a young boy's. Scene. Naaman rejoices, his servants cheer, and the scene transitions back to Elisha's house. Voiceover. Naaman was overwhelmed. He and his company returned to Elisha. Standing before the prophet, he declared, "Now I know that there is no God in all the world except in Israel." From a proud man seeking healing, Naaman became a humble man proclaiming God. Closing scene. Naaman gives thanks, pointing to the heavens, as his caravan sets off back to Aram. The screen darkens and displays one central verse. Voice over. The story of Naaman reminds us that miracles often require humility, a lesson of faith, trust, and surrender. Will you humble yourself to receive what might be waiting for you?